Because look at 1 Corinthians, when Paul waxes eloquently about the gift of grace. He wants to believe that the gift, this gift from God, is an unconditional gift par excellence. But what does he then say? He adds the tag, thanks be to God. So even a gift of extraordinary excess, like grace, becomes conditional in that the expectation of expressing awe and wonder and gratitude and indebtedness must enter the circle of return. It's just part and parcel of an unescapable or inescapable economic exchange. So even when it comes to the biblical God, we still see the gift through the lens of giver, gift, and recipient. And the giver always receives something in return, be it another gift, gratitude, indebtedness. Now, it may sound initially disappointing when concluding that gifts are never pure, never given unconditionally, or, as it is said more colloquially, with no strings attached. But even God, as pointedly expressed in Scripture, has strings attached when offering excessive gifts to humankind. But before we despair completely, we ought to consider, now that we have deconstructed gift-giving, that the circle of return actually signals some very positive things that we believe. The circularity actually affirms our understanding of interdependency, interrelatedness, and even interindebtedness. If there is nothing reciprocal, our interconnectedness would be devalued. So let's return to figuring out the economic exchange and the conundrum posed by excessive gifts when the gift is creation itself. By not returning gratitude and awe, or just making an effort to maintain the gift, are we not severed from the whole grand sense of interconnectedness, interrelatedness, and interindebtedness? And so if creation is a gift, and is there anyone with so much hubris as to think otherwise? If creation is a gift, then how do we receive it? What is the exchange? Or let me phrase it another way. How do we love the gift of creation? Well, I like Freya Matthews' response. She's an Australian ecological philosopher who recognizes that all gifts enter this circularity, that some expectation infuses all gifts, even the gift of creation. And she claims, and I think we would all agree, that the expectation inherent in receiving this gift of creation is simply for us, in her words, to let it be. This saves the gift from responses that either disfigure or destroy it. She says, by letting it be, we allow the creation to grow old. Our part in this economic exchange is not to destroy the gift. Let it be, rather than exhaust and pollute it. In other words, love the world in return for this gift. For the creation is a gift of excess. What we can possibly offer in return will obviously feel incongruent with what we have received. But an expectation remains nevertheless. A reciprocity exists between the earth and us. But instead of loving the earth and letting the natural world be, we are engaged in habitat destruction. Fossil fuels are bringing life to a close, destroying this gift of creation. If global temperatures rise 2 degrees Celsius, the gift to humans becomes undone. To love the earth means that 80% of the earth's resources must stay in the ground. Let it be. If we are to have a livable future, the intent of the gift, we assume, we must change our present course headed towards oblivion, destruction. Now, Bill McKibben has launched a national program aimed at a psychic reorientation. We cannot afford to remain complicit in the fossil fuel economy. The best way to extricate ourselves from the myopic short-term gains of the oil business, the drilling and fracking that will in very short time destroy the creation, the only way not to be complicit is to divest our funds from all fossil fuel industries. Now, our church right now is seriously looking into divesting our portfolio of all fossil fuel connections. The ultimate decision will rest with the congregation at our annual meeting in May. We are currently right now simply at the stage of exploration, and I truly would welcome your comments and your concerns. Divesting our funds would, for the short term at least, diminish our returns on investments. But we believe that our divestment will provide more than just a very small, light, modicum effect on things, or merely be construed as symbolic. Isn't it nice? First Unitarian Church did this little symbolic action. Instead, it will actually offer us leverage to speak earnestly to the leadership of the Unitarian Universalist Association, which remains heavily invested in fossil fuel companies. It will offer us leverage to speak to other faith organizations because fundamentally there is no greater spiritual issue confronting us today than climate change. Climate change will destroy this gift of creation. Our forebears, who have gifted part of their estate to the endowment of this church, surely had in mind some elements of reciprocity. Yes, they would have relished high returns on their gifts to allow the endowment to grow. But more to the essence of their gift, I believe it was intended for this church to remain faithful to its ideals that include a vision larger than increasing the monetary objectives of First Unitarian Church. I believe I'm on firm ground that our forebears would want this church to love the earth and do everything possible to mitigate the destruction of the natural world. The movement to divest is in its infancy, but there's not much time left to apply pressure on the fossil fuel industries. Minimally, we need to start now and align ourselves with other organizations, faith-based, universities, nonprofits, and ally ourselves with individuals throughout the nation to keep our resources in the ground. Let it be. Let it be. What a gift we have received. The expectation in return is for us to offer gratitude, to value the interconnectedness of all life. And when it comes to the natural world, let it be. Our obligation is to love this earth. So be it.